to stand here today with the family of Eric Garner and the family of so many victims of police violence, to stand with Reverend Sharpton as a member of the United States Congress representing the neighborhoods of Bedford-Stuyvesant and Crown Heights and East New York and Canarsie and Coney Island and Brownsville. Is Brooklyn in the house right now? I said, is Brooklyn in the house right now? We stand with the family of Eric Garner and the victims of police violence all over. We're here today to demand an end to police violence. We're here today to demand an end to police harassment of the Black and Latino community. We're here today to demand an end to police brutality, and we're here today to demand justice for Eric Garner. Because it's a matter of life and death for each and every one of us, who, if you find yourself on the wrong side of a police conflict, can end up just like Eric Garner. Because it's happened time and time again. If it could happen to Eleanor Bumpers, if it can happen to Anthony Baez, if it can happen to Amadou Diallo, if it can happen to Patrick Dorismond, if it can happen to Abner Louima, if it can happen to Sean Bell, if it can happen to Ramarley Graham, if it can happen to Omar Edwards, if it can happen to Shem Walker, if it can happen to Eric Garner, if it can happen to Michael Graham, it can happen to you. And that's why we're here to say we're done with it. In fact, as a congressman, if I wasn't on the floor of the House of Representatives, if I wasn't in my office in Capitol Hill, if I wasn't in a suit and tie, and I ran into the wrong police officer, simply because I'm a young black man in America, he might think that I'm a lawbreaker, but it turns out I'm a lawmaker. And about 10 days ago, 6 members of the United States Congress from New York, Charles Rainbow, Jose Serrano, Nydia Velasquez, Greg Meeks, Yvette Clarke, and myself wrote a letter to Eric Holder urging that the Department of Justice get involved and investigate the case of Eric Garner and the NYPD because of their broken windows policing strategy. Now understand, we want a full and complete investigation at the state level and at the federal level. But as we leave this march today, we've got to remain strong, because the attacks are going to come from the other side. We know what the playbook looks like. First, they're going to try and assassinate the character of Eric Garner. And then they're going to claim that he was resisting arrest. And then they're going to say that the chokehold was used because the officer feared for his life. They're going to give us more stories than Harry Potter. But guess what?
We have video.
We got a videotape.
That's right. That's right.
And the only thing that the videotape shows is that a homicide took place. And that's why we're not going to be satisfied simply with a grand jury investigation. We're not going to be satisfied simply with an indictment. The only way we'll be satisfied is if justice takes place and the officers responsible for the death of Eric Garner are convicted and sent upstate. We got a problem in New York City and all across America. Eric Garner is dead. The person who took the video has been arrested, but the officer who killed Eric Garner in plain view for all of us to see remains free and on the NYPD payroll. Something is wrong with that picture. I said something's wrong with that picture, and so we gotta keep marching, we gotta keep fighting, we gotta keep pushing, we gotta keep agitating. I'm gonna keep legislating. We're not gonna rest until we get justice for Eric Garner. No justice? No peace.